Oh, we'll call the meeting to order. I don't see Jeff there yet, but I'm sure he'll be along. We have approval of the minutes of November 16th.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 So moved. Unanimous. The September 30th meeting, approval of the minutes.
Motion. Motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Zoning Board of Appeals agenda, if you have in front of you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you need to say about it at all?
Quick question. The property at 208 Center Ave, we dealt with this, I think, at our last meeting. Looking to build, they split it up and looking to build a second house there.
Yeah.
I thought they said that they met all the setbacks. Did I mishear them? Because now they're going for the ZBA for a setback variance.
They needed to have that because of the distance between the house on the right and them, I believe. That's what it was for.
Okay, but that was mentioned at the hearing that we had?
Yes, it was mentioned they had to go before the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Okay,
We couldn't approve it, but they could.
all right, that's all I had.
All right, on the detention area at 12 Sullivan, John L. Sullivan Way. A few days ago, last week, I got a call from Liz that we had a complaint that there was fill being brought in to the detention area at the end of that street. And at the same time, we called PMP, and I and he met together at the location probably around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. When we got there was a truck just getting ready to dump another load, which is actually being dumped on, it looks like someone else's property because the black fence that's surrounding the 12 Sullivan Way, I would think that is the property line. I'm not sure, but there were a few loads already dumped there, and there was another dump that he was dumping. I held him up from dumping it. You know, like all these, they have a place to go and so forth, but I ended up talking with the driver, and we talked with the dispatcher, and they in turn talked with the person that had the truck go there. And make a long story short, we allowed them to dump that load there and leave after about a half an hour, 45 minutes. But the whole detention area has been reconstructed. There's been new riprap put in. It's nothing according to what was originally on the plan. And since then, we have sent a letter to Mento because they're the ones that did the construction, and the town has not approved the roadway at all yet, although we do have a bond on it. They've been working diligently with the owner there. PMP has had contact with the owner. From time to time, the owner has said no one can go on its property. So Mento has had problems with it. It's not too good a situation. And today we sent a letter to the occupants of the house, as well as Mento has been in touch with us, and perhaps at this point, Liz might want to add to what I've had to say. You're on mute, Liz.
Can we message her to unmute?
Was that Bruce?
Could we message her to unmute?
No, she's
Oh.
she's unmuted, but I think her her audio is not connected.
Oh.
No, we
Nope.
cannot hear you at the moment, Liz. Try connecting your audio.
Perhaps if we haven't, while Liz is trying to get on there, are there any questions from the board?
A whole bunch. So this is still currently owned by the developer. The town hasn't approved the street, correct?
That's correct.
Don't we usually have a sign up on the street post that says whether it's a private way or not, or do we not do
Oh,
that?
we haven't, we quite frankly haven't reached that point yet because they've been wanting to get this approved and they've come before us on a couple of occasions to do that. But in each case, it's been, with the exception of the detention area, and until that's solved, we cannot bring it before town meeting. Or
No.
before that, actually, we can't recommend it to the Board of Selectmen, who will bring it before the town meeting.
No, I meant, do we mark these usually as private ways?
They're done at a point, but they're not done at the beginning of the contract.
Okay. So just so I understand, behind 12 Sullivan Way is a retention basin that
It's on the
serves,
side of it,
yeah, that serves the subdevelopment, correct?
yes.
Okay. And so it's not, is it owned by somebody or is it going to be, who owns that piece of land, that parcel?
The people that live at 12 Sullivan Way. However, the town is supposed to have the rights to go onto that property if it needs to.
Okay. So when you went out there the other day, there was a truck getting ready to dump something.
Yeah.
Why was it allowed to dump?
Please?
Why was it allowed to dump?
Well, the question's got to be, is there are 3 loads there already?
Yeah.
You've got a guy that's going to have to take the load somewhere, which he doesn't know where he's going to put it. He isn't the people that, this is a trucker that got it there. I don't know where he was going to take it. I could be one of those kinds of guys that say, you got to get it off the property, you got to go somewhere else. I don't think that is quite proper at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And other fill was there. It added another 15 yards of fill.
All right. When you say it's been rebuilt and reconstructed, do we generally, what's been done to it?
If you went up and saw it, Rick, it's nothing like what it was originally. There's been a lot of fill brought in. There's been a lot of riprap brought in. There's been change of grades. And in addition to that, as far as I'm concerned, I'm sure there's been more than 250 yards of fill brought in.
Okay.
Patrick went around the whole length of the property. There's basically not a detention area anymore. It's going to be a direct water through the area.
Do we know if this has been done on behalf of the homeowner or the developer?
The developer has nothing to do with it at this point. I mean, he has plenty to do with it, but he did none of the work himself. And he was probably totally unaware of the work being done.
Okay, so the homeowner likely is the one that's ordered this filled in and redone and everything.
I have no way of knowing, but I just can't imagine someone doing all that work on someone's property and them not being aware of what's going on.
Okay,
But I have no proof who did it.
okay. And to this point, have we sent a cease and desist or anything to the property owners?
We have told Mento, who is our contact. In addition to that, today there was a letter that went to the property owners, and we've been in touch with town council, and they suggested this is the way it should be done.
Okay. Yeah, I would totally support doing whatever we need to do to, I don't want this to turn into another Adams Street situation where it just lingers for months and months. I mean, it has already. But I would support using the strongest stick and carrot that we have to get somebody in front of us at our next meeting and find out what's going on and address this. The other issue here is that the water, if it doesn't have a good place to go, is now going to run off onto state property. And I don't know if they'd be happy to know that. Because that bumps right back up to Ames Knoll. So whatever that might play into the situation as well, I would urge us to use that card too. Because that runoff is going straight onto a state park property.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Are you on yet, Liz?
So technically, what are the legalities of the planning board? It's Mento's project still.
It is, and he has a bond on it. I'm not quite sure how large that bond is. Liz could probably tell us, but.
Other than if they brought in more than 200 yards.
Oh, that's another issue altogether, and Mento did not bring it in. It was brought in by somebody.
We assume it's the homeowner.
Yeah, I just don't know who else it could be.
It's been an ongoing issue with him in that detention basin, hasn't it?
He's been going back and forth with this. The owner of that property has told PMP that he is not allowed on the property from time to time. It seemed to have gotten to a point where something was going to get done, and we're back to square one again.
So I guess, is it appropriate for town council what our legalities are?
We've already touched base with them and are working on that. Absolutely.
And I think I had a brief conversation with Liz that basically it was Mentos, up to Mentos. Still his project.
It is his project. There's no question about it.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's is the onus on Mento to have this built right, I guess. And so if somebody who they've sold the lot to goes in and changes it, is that basically just become a fight between Mento and the developer?
It is at this point until the town takes it over. The town hasn't taken it over yet.
And the town probably won't take it over until it's resolved.
No, and the problem with it is how does that affect other neighbors?
Right.
The people that expected, they saw a plan, if they went to the registry of deeds and when they built their house and wanted to see what the property was going to look like when it was done, it's all there. So the neighbors expect one thing and they're getting something else. We're following it through, and I'm sure that if there's any other questions, you can check with Liz. I'm gonna, the Abington zoning bylaw changes for 2021, FEMA mandatory, and I was gonna have Liz handle that also. Move to the approval of the town report for the for submission. Does anybody have any changes they'd like to make with that? I talked with Liz and we made a few changes, but nothing nothing drastic. You have the original, and there just most of them. I mean, I can go over them if you wish, but they're mostly just a word here and there. The only major thing was that in the next to last paragraph, no, yeah. I'm sorry.
Did everybody else get a copy? I'm not sure I did.
Everybody got one in their mail, in their packet. Oh, I'm sorry, they may not. I don't know. No, we got it some time ago.
I got it on.
Yeah,
I got it on an
we
email.
got the meeting before last.
Email to everybody.
Yeah, I got it on an email.
And Liz asked for backgrounds on it. I added that on the fifth paragraph, that I explained why the town meeting members voted. I added after the last word in the sentence, after fall, by the town meeting, because the voting members felt that more people should be present in attendance for all the votes. I thought that needed to be stated. And then in the next to last paragraph, after licenses, insert available from 2 to 5 for the licenses. The rest was just minor things. So you all have received it, or at one point, if you have a question or you want to, I don't think we need to have a vote, but for this, you certainly can have one now, but that's what is proposed to be in the town report.
Didn't we wrap up the Summer Street project? Didn't they withdraw in December?
It's in there.
It says
It's
they,
in
it says we continued the site plan hearings.
What's that, Rick?
It says they continued the site plan hearings on the
It did say it up there, but later on in the report, it said they withdrew.
Okay.
We could do a consensus, Mr. Chair, just to
Please.
accept it rather than vote on it.
Okay. So you want to make a move that we consent? There we go. There's a voice.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. A little weak.
Barely.
I have no video or audio on my laptop, and my phone will unmute, so I'm sorry.
Guys, can you hear her?
Not well.
All right, we'll work on it. If you want, we're still working on it behind the scenes.
Thank you. I don't have a problem with the report, the way it is.
All right. If someone does, if you want to just give Liz a call, something you can work out. Approval, next is approval of occupancy at 351 Summer Street. I haven't got the wording on that, but I know that PMP sent us a letter on it. You all have that letter?
Yeah.
So they made some comments. He's saying, and then once the work has been performed on the rain garden as proposed, the rain gardens will meet the requirement to reduce the peak rates of runoff from the site.
Is PMP on or no?
I don't see them.
That was the email that you sent out to us today, I think.
Yep. Yep.
However, the plan should also clearly show the change in the downspout pipes that discharge and surface the rain garden and so forth. As previously noted, PMP agrees with Sitex that the work should be performed in the spring. Please contact me immediately. So they want to have occupancy. I don't know what your pleasure is on this.
I assume we're holding the bond. At least 25 grand, right?
I would think so. Liz, do you know what the bond is? Or is Steve on this?
I am. I'm the owner of the property, and Al Tracomus, my engineer, is here also. Can you hear me, Wayne?
Yes, we can.
There is a $25,000 bond, and that bond was put up on actually 2016. So you do have that bond.
Any other questions? If that's all that's holding up occupancy, I would think with the $25,000 bond, it should be something we could approve. Otherwise, they have to wait until you tell me. when.
Yeah, I don't have a problem as long as we're holding the bond.
Agreed.
Any other questions from the board? And we could have a motion to approve occupancy on the planning board.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. Aye. Thank you. Anything you want to add to that, Steve, or you're all set?
No, I'm very happy that you did that. I appreciate it. And the work will be taken care of as soon as we get to the spring and get rid of this 8 inches of snow we're going to get in a matter of minutes.
Well, they keep talking about it, but I think we're going to luck out.
So far we have. It's good.
Thank you.
You.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye now. Good night.
Night. Buckley Place, vote to approve, endorse, and release remaining surety. And you should have a letter, although the only letter I guess the letter I'm looking at is December 4th.
I guess it just seemed to be some confusing with the drainage, something in the drainage on the as-built. Doesn't sound like anything major.
In the letter we got from SciTech saying that they agreed with BMP's observation. Oh, that was the other one. I'm sorry.
That was the other one.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
It doesn't really say what the conflicts are. Something about profiles, as-built profiles. Once these conflicts have been resolved, the as-built plan revised. It's PMP's opinion that the as-built plan can be accepted by the board.
Have we received the easements? Do you know? Does anyone know? And Liz can't answer.
Is there easements there?
Yeah, at this point, the board should confirm that they have received the following easement documents with proof of recording, access and utility easement over the entirety of the right-of-way to the town of Abington, the 10-foot wide tree planting easement as shown in approved subdivision plan.
Well, unless we can confirm that, I don't know how we can vote on it.
Sean Riley's not there either, huh?
I'm waking up.
No Sean Riley.
We may have to continue this if we can't confirm these things.
And we'll bring that up again before the meeting's over in case Sean shows up. Is that all right with all of you?
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Robbins Ave resolution of drainage issue. And that's, you have all the plans and things in front of you. It's a pretty confusing.
Whoa, can you hear me?
With a siren going off behind you.
Can you hear me now?
That's much better.
All right. I got,
Yeah, you still got some issues with your voice.
We're getting feedback. Liz, once you say something, we hear it 5 times.
I know, I'm trying to hide the phone. Hold on, I'm gonna shut the phone off. Is that better?
Nope.
I would mute your phone if you could, or shut it off.
That's what I'm trying here. Oh.
Gentlemen, I think the plan is that when she gets back, I was initially gonna let you know that she can hear you, but she was having problems with her audio. She was gonna use the chat box. That may be the ideal way to get through the rest of this meeting until we could figure out her issues.
Okay. So on Robbins, you all have the plans? I've been up there on a number of occasions. It's difficult to understand what's going on up there, even when you have the plans in front of you. So I'm not quite sure what can be accomplished tonight, but maybe you have some ideas. The conveyance of easement and utilities has been one of the problems right along that we've had, and it looks like some of that work was done many years ago, and finally we have that information. You can see on the plans, quite difficult to know exactly what's going on.
And apparently I got an email from PMP. He was out there today, but it doesn't really say much other than they put that ductile line pipe back.
Does anyone have Sean's cell phone number?
I do. I can text him if you'd like.
Yeah, please. Could you do that? See if you could get him on here, please.
Could I ask a couple of questions just for background?
Yes.
So right now, there's that little paved spur that goes off the end of the cul-de-sac.
Yes.
Is that something the planning board approved?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Is it something that's allowed? Is it supposed to be a driveway? Do we know? I don't.
Might have gone in as that originally, but it's certainly not an approved roadway or anything else like that. And it's probably not in the right place either.
I mean, is that something we want to discuss further? I imagine the fire chief wouldn't be thrilled about whatever that thing is, and if he had to get up there, and I don't know.
Well, I'd continue this till next meeting. I can't see there's anything we can vote on tonight in any case.
Liz just asked, why do we need Sean? And
Oh, we needed Sean for, you just wanted Sean for the Buckley Place.
correct. Type that in.
So as far as Robbins Avenue is concerned, is that something we'll put on the agenda for next month? Is that agreeable with everybody?
Yeah, I think we should continue this till next month.
Then on 121 Randolph Street, the neighbors there called and also sent a letter. And I went and viewed the property a week ago Friday, this past Friday. And I talked with a lady there, I won't get into the details, but, and I did view the property. There's no question that there has been no work done within the 25-foot area that was to be left as is, which would give the neighbors a buffer zone. And when this project started, which is probably back in '08 or somewhere around there, the neighbors agreed that the 25-foot buffer zone would give them some privacy. Since that time, there have been a number of trees in this particular area, and this is the area that butts up against Wyman Road, that have died or have come down. Nothing to do with the developer. They've done by natural causes. And the grades haven't been changed to cause the problem either. And I explained to one of the neighbors who was not there, did not live in the house when the project was originally proposed. However, another neighbor was there when it was proposed. I asked Liz, I gave my report, which I should have in front of me, but I don't, but on it, and asked that she send a copy of the letter or the note to her directly to the developer. I eliminated the names and so forth, but gave him an idea of what the problem was. And he received that letter, a note, and got back to Liz and told her that he would come up with a plan and see what he could do for the neighbors there. So that's where we are at this point. It would seem to me that he wanted to put some more planting in there and realizes what has happened.
Of course, it's winter too, and the leaves are off the trees. So, you know, in the summer, when the leaves are on the trees, it'll be more of a blockage. But yeah, we go up there all the time and we've seen that.
Yeah, but it's not, when the leaves come out and everything else, it's not going to change very much. A lot of the trees that were in there were evergreens, and they've come down. It's unfortunate, but if we can, I don't really want to speak for the developer, but and he's going to come up with a plan, perhaps make a berm in addition.
Berm with evergreens.
Please.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, you
Yes.
can. Right ahead.
Yay! A berm with evergreens. He's gonna bring a plan in the spring to show the board.
Yeah, could we schedule him to, you know, when he does that, so that, you know, we can let them know when he's going to present that to the board?
Sure, and I've responded to them as well to let them know that this is definitely something that's not going to happen till the spring. And I know it's ugly down there right now because the leaves are off the trees and everything, but I did let them know that he was very willing to do something to make it look pretty or create a buffer or whatever back there.
I think it's also.
So yes, I will try to remember to let them know.
I think it's also a good lesson that a 25-foot buffer really isn't that much. It's the width of one big mature tree. So.
Well, and then when trees start dying and the
Yeah.
leaves are off them, it gets very ugly.
I can tell you.
I mean, I went out there today and that the backhoe is right on top of the backyards, but it's 25 feet.
Yeah.
It's I don't think people realize how short 25 feet is.
I think that's
Well,
not regulation.
Well, the other concern too is the dumpster that they raised.
Yeah, that I'm not so sure of because that was in the approved plan. So I don't know where that could go. It's You guys could certainly ask him to take a look at it.
I think that would be a good idea if we did that to address the neighbors' concerns.
Okay, I'll send him an email.
That the 25-foot buffer zone is something in our rules and regulations, and that's, I mean, that's usually been acceptable. And in some cases, they've ended up putting spruce trees or something into that area. In other cases, in this particular case, there was no suggestion that he should take any trees down and put anything else there. But just to be clear that he is following what's been said, and the 25-foot buffer has not been disturbed by him. This is not the first time this has come up. So I just want to make that clear that in his plan, just like the dumpster is where we decided, you know, the board voted to have it there.
Well, you know, something that hasn't been, I live on Randolph Street and I'm right near that place. And the houses that are right up at where Dumas's used to live and where Belcher's used to live, there's no blockage. There's his development, there's the Schumi, and then there's the houses on Randolph Street. And if there's nothing blocking them at all there. You know, there's no trees or anything. I'm surprised those folks haven't come before us and talked about that.
Well, some of them were there at the hearing, and I know that did not come up. But.
Yeah.
All right, we're all set on that. Can we, on Robbins, Liz, if you got something you might want to add to Robbins on my conversation I've had, to me, it just needs to be postponed.
Robbins Ave?
Yes.
David Federico is trying to get a building permit for that one lot. We're not talking about that small grandfathered lot that he has to prove, prove that the road is can bear the traffic or whatever. But for that lot where the drainage was going on to the neighbor's property, they did find a drainage easement that they can drain his water on there. So he has gone back and installed the pipes a little further back. So it does eventually drain onto her property. I did call her and leave her a message because I don't have an email for her. You know, asking her to give me a call and letting her know that they had found this document. I wanted to give her a heads up about it. He installed the pipes over the weekend, and Patrick went out today, and I think I forwarded you guys Patrick's email from this afternoon. I think everything is okay. I didn't even get a chance to read it. He usually red flags something for me in the email. Did anybody read it?
For whatever reason, I couldn't take it, but I know Bob was able to read it.
Yep.
Okay.
It sounds like he's still, I guess the only concern I had was that there's some other work that needs to be done. And I don't think, we don't have a bond or anything, right? I guess we can hold up occupancy.
I think we do. I think we do. I think we're not releasing the bond. Actually, we might have the lot. You know what? I have to be honest with you guys. It has been so long and such a back and forth on this.
Yep.
Could you guys vote it contingent upon me getting that sorted out? What kind of surety we're holding?
Well, the other question we have is what about the roadway? And I'm not quite sure that, I don't know where we're going with the road.
So right now, the status of that road is it was developed from Brockton Ave to a certain point, and it's a public way. It's been accepted as a public way. And then it was, I think, Jack Reardon.
Yep.
I think it was actually somebody else who permitted it, but then Jack Reardon bought the project. He improved the road a certain distance and put a house or two up,
Yep.
and that never got accepted. And
Right.
then, Mr. Federico started there and then pushed it into this semicircle that it's in now and wants to put 2 houses up, but that second house on the grandfathered lot is a whole different ball of wax. He's just trying to get a permit on this one. And what was holding him up was the drainage, but I agree with you. I can't recall at this moment, and I didn't bring that file home. I don't know what
We're
the
talking
board has
about,
for surety. It's either the lot or he put cash up, and I can't remember at the moment. We do have something.
we're talking about that one lot at the end of the bulb that's got 60 feet of frontage, right? Not the
Yes,
not the driveway
Not-
extension.
no, not the driveway and the grandfathered lot. No.
Even
No, what
that,
he's
that 60 foot of frontage lot must be a grandfathered lot.
probably, or he got zoning relief. I'm not sure which.
Because it doesn't look like he has enough even frontage on the bulb that Reardon extended. They came before us and extended Robbins Ave to that bulb, and it was either 1 or 2 houses that they built, right?
Yeah,
That was quite some time ago.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Oh, like over 10 years ago, easily.
easy.
Yep. Yeah, and it's dragged on and on and on and on.
So I guess my problem is the work that needs to be done around that pipe, I guess.
Okay, so and my best guess to that is because he just installed it over the weekend, so
Right.
it surprises me not that there remains some stuff to be done.
Yeah.
So I can let him know that, and that you guys are voting. Do you want me to say if you guys want to take some action tonight instead of holding it up a month, you can vote contingent upon him resolving what's in Pat's letter. And on my end, I'll get straight what we're holding for surety.
If we approve this, do we allow something to happen?
If you vote contingent upon Pat's letter tonight and upon me straightening out the surety piece, you are allowing him to move forward with the one house lot that was included with this subdivision plan. He's also got that grandfathered lot that he's looking to do, but that's not included in this. And you can make that as a very specific motion that the undersized lot, not the undersized, excuse me, the grandfathered lot is not included.
Okay.
He's been trying to get, and it's been a very frustrating journey because it's like every 9 months to a year, he comes in and says, what do I need to do next? And so hence 10 years later, and he's still trying to do it.
Dragging his feet. I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem putting it off because he's been dragging his feet for quite some time.
No, I know.
So just out of
It
curiosity,
would just make my life easier. Just really being honest, it would make my life easier.
so out of curiosity, I'm looking at the plan that we were provided.
Mhm.
And the turnaround at the end of Robbins basically doesn't go all the way along his frontage.
That's correct.
Is that allowed?
I would have to say that's what I was saying, a grandfathered lot, and I don't think he has enough frontage, but I guess that's up to the building inspector.
But I mean, like, the road, I mean, I don't even know where his driveway would go. I mean, he would have to, the right of way doesn't even go in front of his house, basically, the paved part. It's a corner of it. Is there a plan?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, the plan you guys got, I think, was just for the drainage, right?
It says
Mostly
roadway-
showing the drainage?
It says roadway and drainage easement plan.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
Kyle
January-
Garvey from January 4th, 2021. It's a pretty big plan,
Okay.
but it shows the layout. I would say that's a hurdle he's got to pass with the building inspector. We're not approving. We're not approving the second piece of this, so that extends Robbins Ave again.
No, you're just approving,
Nothing.
no, right. He,
Nothing.
the issue was with the drainage because he
Yeah.
was, throwing drainage on a neighbor's property and you guys told him he needed to get the drainage fixed
Right.
or modify the plan, and he came up with the, drainage easement.
Yeah, but then now all of a sudden he's put the pipe back.
He did. I think he moved it back a little. But he's put it back because he can drain on her property. There's a drainage easement there.
Yeah, I saw the
And I think I
easement.
sent you guys a copy of that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Somehow Jack Redden was involved. John Redden, yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
John Redden and Red Dog Realty Trust. But the part that concerned me was, well, not that it matters now, at the bottom, it's understood and agreed that the turnaround easement will terminate upon approval and recording of plan showing extension of the roadway improvement. I assume that means the second extension.
You know what? Do you want me to ask the assessors for a copy of the approved plan from the Registry of Deeds?
Yes.
Okay. So approved.
And I think that's what Kyle did, but I wish he was here to explain what he did.
All right, and I'll see if I can get him to. David Federico asked if he should come tonight, but I'm not sure that he could have answered these questions.
No, he was at that. And I would assume, to Rick's comment, that until this, when and if this extension is approved or done, he doesn't technically have enough frontage on the roadway, but I don't know.
Okay. Let's see if we can get some more information together for the next meeting. I'll get what was originally approved and that second Robbins Ave extension, and ask Kyle Garvey to come to the next meeting.
It might have got, it doesn't show it on this plan, but it might have got approved to the corner of his 60-foot of frontage.
Okay.
And the other one, hey Sean, the other one they were, wasn't that something that Wheatley was working on forever ago? The extension part?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Sean's on the meeting now. We'll see what he says.
Evening, what can I do?
Well, I think we wanted them for a different situation. So we're all set with Robbins?
For the next meeting.
Yeah, you're gonna continue it
Right,
till March 1st.
right.
Okay.
Every, Sean, we have some questions on Buckley Place. And
Okay.
we get a hold of you, you could square us all the way on that. They wanted to have a vote to endorse and release the remaining surety, and there were a couple of questions on that. Bob, maybe you. Bob, you had something on that Buckley Place.
Yeah, it was just in PMP's letter. If all that stuff was resolved. Something about conflicts with the as-built and the drainage system?
Yeah, I don't know the specifics of, was that, yeah, that was Buckley Place.
As-built drainage pipe schedule and profiles, some conflicts that apparently I don't think they've been resolved. And I assume they're minor.
To my knowledge, that's all I can tell you. I don't usually get deep in the weeds with the drainage details. It sounded to me, and based on past comments that PMP has made, it was more of kind of linking up that what was shown on the plan also matched the detail page. You know, whatever, if it was a 6-inch pipe drawn on the plan, does it also say 6-inch pipe elsewhere or whatever? It didn't look like they meant that they were revising drainage, because they're simply the plan of what actually exists. So I think it was just they were trying to get the labels to match what was existing, is my knowledge of it. If you wanted to, and I'm sorry, I just don't know specifically, but if you were to vote to say that the bond money would be withheld until you received confirmation from PMP, that's fine with us. I don't think there's anything major. I can't imagine to be anything out there.
No, I don't either, but PMP's letter was kind of vague too. It didn't really say, and I don't have a problem doing that until PMP is satisfied and the as-built is changed and acceptable. That way you don't have to wait another month.
And the other thing, Sean, is that we wanted to know whether to confirm that we've received the following easement documents with proof of recording, access and utility easement over the entirety of the right-of-way to the town of Abington. 2 10-foot wide tree planting easement as shown on the approved definitive subdivision plan.
Yeah, we did draft that. I believe that's actually been recorded, although we did not create a tree easement to the town, which was noted in my response letter, because the town doesn't own the road. So the town doesn't want to take responsibility for the tree easements. That's going to be the 100% responsibility of the lot owners. So there's an easement to allow the town to go up and down the street, and the water and sewer departments to go up and down. DPW, even though the DPW is not responsible to maintain the road, they have the right to go up and down. Water and sewer has a policy that they will maintain pipes in roads, but not pipes once they cross lot lines. So they wanted to have access to any part of the roadway. That has been taken care of. I just found my file. Sorry, I'm just logging on, trying to grab everything as you're talking. I'm pretty sure I've already recorded it, but if not, I know it's been drafted.
The conveyance of utility was recorded on August 21st.
Thank you, Liz.
2020. Yep.
So the only thing is some sort of discrepancy with the as-built in the drainage, and it sounds like it's something minor, but.
Right. Yeah.
It says in some conflict as-built information shown for the drainage.
Yeah, in the as-built drainage pipe schedule, and it's shown in the as-built profiles, which the pipe schedule is a list they usually make on the plan showing the type of pipe and the size of the pipe, and then they have the actual drawing of it, the profile of it.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is the list doesn't match what the labels are on the profile.
Yeah, and Patrick said in his email to me, attaches a second review letter for Buckley Place as-built plan. The only remaining item to be resolved, as noted in the letter, is some conflicting as-built information shown for the drainage. I have placed a call to Eric Diaz so I can go over this with him. Once this is resolved and the as-built plan revised, the as-built plan will be ready to be accepted. So that was from Patrick. I didn't get anything further than that.
This is a bond from a bonding company, I believe.
Or is it cash? Do you know, Liz?
I think it's a bond.
I think it's a bond too.
Yeah. Or whatever that.
I don't believe it's cash.
I presume that it got, I don't know what the question, the reason I ask is that it looks like it probably was, I'm sure it was over 54,000 anyway, but I don't know whether it's had it reduced at all. And I don't know what the situation is with the bonding company if we released all but $10,000. Certainly we'd release the bond if we had $10,000 cash, if that was the figure that we thought we needed. If we needed 5,000, it's 5, or we didn't need any, that's another one. But
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm looking at PMP's December 7th letter. It was drafted in preparation for your December 7th meeting. And during that one, they recommended that the surety amount be reduced to $25,000. And I don't have the minutes from that meeting, but
What I was getting at, Sean, is I don't know what kind of a bond. I know originally he was going to come in with a cash bond, and then at the last minute, I believe it was changed to a bond from a bonding company.
Mhm.
So,
well, either way, I don't mind if you guys just vote to hold it all until you get PMP to agree that everything's fine, because it's a very minimal detail that has to be corrected on the plan. So whether it's cash bond or surety bond, if your vote says hold it until PMP says it's fine, I'm fine with that. You don't need to release part of it now and part of it later. That would just be more work for Liz.
so then perhaps we could have a motion to release the bond on the approval of PMP on that particular issue.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All
aye.
right.
Unanimous.
Sorry for the confusion and the delay getting on.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming, Sean.
It's a pleasure to see you all again.
But you had the night off, huh?
I was getting my snow blower ready. I was in the garage, but
You
I'll
don't,
go back.
you don't need it. It's just some more news that we don't have to pay attention to, I guess. But in any case, hopefully we won't have to shovel even in the morning.
True. Anything more on the agenda that you need me for?
I don't think there was nothing else.
No,
Okay.
Fine. Thank you, Sean. You
Good
said
night.
you can listen as long as you'd like, though. The other thing was, Liz, on the FEMA proposed zoning bylaw changes for 2021, FEMA mandatory.
so at the annual, well, the special town meeting, annual town meeting, whatever town meeting we had last fall, the town meeting remanded the zoning changes. I think there were 13 of them, roughly, back to the planning board. So my question to you guys is, what did you want to move forward with this year for zoning, proposed zoning changes? And that being said, we have to do the FEMA change. It's got to be done by, I think, June 22nd. Don't hold me to that date. I actually just, town council, their reverse, the state has created a new model bylaw. I sent that to town council. They sent it back. I sent it to the state for them to review, and I just got it back this afternoon. So I'm going to look at it this week. I think we're missing a couple of things. It seems like a simple fix, and we'll be pretty prepared to go, but we do have to hold at least one zoning hearing on the FEMA Cape Cod watershed bylaw. Apparently, we're also part of the Charles River watershed, and that needs to be done next year, I think. So I didn't know if along with the FEMA one, you wanted to do any other zoning changes.
I think we should put them in again. I hate to keep spending $1,000 on putting ads in the paper. This will be the third time. We have to do it in the spring meeting anyway. There were a few of those that should have been voted on at the meeting that we had in the fall. But since we only had 85 people to vote, they didn't want to vote it. So they didn't want to vote it. So, but on the other hand, when it came up to the marijuana thing, even though we only had 85 people, that we should vote on. So I don't know where some of the other board members and some of the other departments are coming from. But if they have some real objections to the whole 13 of them that we had, I wish they would speak up and tell us before the meeting so we wouldn't spend all this money for advertising and waste the town's money. I would suggest that some of those articles need to come before the town meeting there were 2 or 3 of those that we were not going forward with in any case, but we had held at hearings. I think we should put in some of them.
So would it be beneficial if I grab that list from last year and put it on the March 1st agenda? And you guys can go through and, go through and figure out which ones you want to move forward with and what you don't want to move forward with?
I'd like for you to do that.
Okay.
It's just me. But,
Oh, I think that's me, and I'm sure the rest of us.
okay. Didn't want to put words in you guys' mouths. Sorry.
No.
All right.
And then the other quick question I had while we were talking about zoning, I'm not sure, because it's now been so long ago, if we have delivery of marijuana included in our bylaw. And what's leading me to believe we might not is because I think the state might have just approved their bylaw. So I didn't know if you wanted me to go down that path as well and figure out, or ask town council to figure out whether our bylaw covers delivery or not before we get a request for a delivery license.
Excellent idea.
Okay.
And Liz, did you get most of the minutes? I know you were trying to get on.
Yeah, I could hear you guys. So you approved both sets of minutes, right?
Yeah, we did. And we also, I sent you some things on
the town report. I got that.
And I don't think anyone had anything to add. So we're all set with that. Is there anything else?
So just with the John L. Sullivan thing, I wanted to let you guys know that I got an email from Patrick this afternoon. And John Mento called him regarding the basin, and Patrick told him in short, I basically told him the same thing, that this is something he needs to work out with Dave. Apparently John's attorney also agrees. They did not convey the lot properly, and that they lost the rights to the easement. I told John he needs to talk to the planning board so they know what's going on. I also reminded him we never said the basin couldn't be modified, just that it couldn't be changed to whatever Dave wanted. That they could have done and still can do a modification plan for the basin, and that if the engineer can run the calcs and show the modified basin still meets stormwater management, the planning board can approve the modification. That's sort of similar. Town council said that might not be a bad option at this point, since the homeowner is being a little uncooperative, I guess is a good word. So I just wanted to let you know that the Mentos had reached out to him. I am going to email them tomorrow and ask them not to do that until they come up with a modified plan, because there's not a lot of cash left for that kind of stuff. So I guess that was it. I just wanted to let you guys know they have reached out to Pat. I did email them with town council's opinion that this was a private matter between the homeowner and the developer, because the roadway and the drainage are still his responsibility, because he never turned it over to the town.
And the other thing is that we also sent a letter to the residents that to our knowledge, it looks like there's more than 250 yards of fill that have gone in there. So they need to get a permit for that.
I did. I sent him a cease and desist fill letter today to the property owner at 12 John L. Sullivan Way. And while we're talking about fill letters, I never received a response from the people on the right-hand side of 662 Adams Street who took the 500 yards of fill, according to testimony that was provided at the meeting. And you asked me to send them. I think they own that manufacturing or storage company or whatever. They live in Rockland, and I think the last name was McKinnon, and I never received a response. I did receive a response from the neighbors who live on the left, who we received a complaint. They removed more than 250 yards of fill, and they're filing their application this week, I believe. So I have heard from them, but I have not heard from the other one. So I didn't know if you wanted me to have town council draft a letter nicely asking them to come to the March meeting.
That would be fine.
Okay.
Liz, going back to Sullivan Way, who is Dave?
Dave is Mr. David Lawrence, who owns the property or co-owns it.
He's one of the developers?
No, he's the property owner.
He lives at 12?
And he does.
Okay.
And both the chairman and myself and Patrick had a long summer with him. He's very upset about the basin and thought it wasn't working properly. And the Mentos and Patrick all were out there multiple times, and the basin is functioning as it was designed to. They needed to clean the filter something off one end, and they did that. But he then refused to let anybody on his property, and we all got an email saying, "You can't trespass on my property." So at that point, I said to Pat, "We're done. If he doesn't want you on the property, you represent the town, so you can't go on the property." Eventually, they ended up in the town manager's office, where he basically reiterated the same thing, that at this point it's up to the Mentos because the roadway is not accepted. So it's a private matter between him and the developer. And
Doesn't
it appears.
I'm sorry.
Hmm?
Doesn't our zoning bylaw specifically give us permission to go on someone's property?
It may give the zoning enforcement officer permission. I'm not sure that it gives a representative of the planning board. And at this point, I got to be honest with you, it wouldn't have made a difference. Nothing that was, he wasn't listening to, he didn't want to hear the answer. So that at the end of the day, that was the problem. He did not want to hear what the answer to his question was. It wasn't the answer he wanted. And I think what is, I'm not sure if the chairman mentioned this, it's my understanding that his house is either up for sale or was up for sale. He's looking to sell it. I had multiple realtors call about it, which is a little concerning because I don't know who's going to fix that, because the drainage system doesn't work.
Right.
So,
And what's going to happen is he's going to sell it. The neighbor's going to come in and say, "We had no idea. We don't want to spend
Right.
$20 to fix this."
right.
That's
So, but
why-
town council has advised that it is a private matter between the Mentos and Mr. Lawrence and the house co-owner.
And I don't know what the legality is or anything else, but it would be really nice. And town council, I suppose, is who you need to talk to. If we need to, I know we don't, I mean, Mento is the person that's responsible, but shouldn't there be something on their deed that at least when the new homeowner buys that piece of property, that person is aware of it? I've seen so many times when people come in and there's been correspondence been going on for many years. And not just in our town, but I've heard it worse in other towns where someone buys the property and there's a 21E problem on it or something like that. And they had no knowledge of it and they've lost their home over it. And it's not right. And at least if they buy the property and they see a lien on it or they see something on it, they know it, or at least their attorney should know it and be brought to their attention. But too many people buy homes today without doing the research, and they find themselves owing a lot of money that shouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have bought the home if they knew they had the problem.
I'd be happy to ask if we can use town council and check that out to see if maybe, I don't know, a copy of the cease and desist letter can get filed, or they can draft a letter and have it recorded with that address on it. So if somebody was doing a title search, it would pop up. I don't disagree with you because that will probably lead to a bigger mess down the road. But so
Well,
yes,
they could end up saying to you, you prevented me from selling my house and sue you for that, but, that's what we have town council for.
Yeah, I can ask her.
Is there anything else to be brought up at the meeting?
Oh, I guess you guys know that they withdrew the plan to put the self-storage place on the corner of Shore Ave and Bedford Street, so that property's up for sale again. We have an approved plan for that storage facility. Be interesting if someone buys that property and wants to pursue that. Be interesting to see what happens with that property.
What was the reason for that happening?
I don't know. Rick, do you know any more about that?
I talked to Sean Riley about it, and he just said once COVID hit, they kind of walked away from it. But
That actually wasn't my understanding, but
okay.
I think I know what the answer is, and I just don't think I'm at liberty to say something at this point.
Okay. Oh, look who's here.
Am I on?
Yeah.
From what? Let's see, how can I say this?
You're the lawyer, that's why I didn't say it.
Well, what Rick said is also accurate, because we did talk. The sale to the entity that was going to build the public storage building did not go through because they walked away from the sale. We had asked them, there was a lot of silence. Something happened and we don't really know. We were dealing with their representatives in Boston. Their main office was in Texas. And the only reason that they had given me at one point was that COVID put a freeze on the company for any commercial investments. And we said, okay, do you need a delay or what's going on? And we really, all of a sudden, we didn't hear from them at all. So then there was a demand for the deposit and a squabble about that. I stepped aside and some other attorneys hashed it out. The other attorneys might know more, but that was the only excuse or reason that I had heard was COVID put a stop to commercial investment. And at one point, the initial excuse was they're waiting for the Mass Highway curb cut. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. And we were like, there's no reason to delay the sale to your client. Yeah. But that's what they were relying on. And then at some point, they decided not to move forward. And that's about all I can say and should say.
Okay. There's two other things I wanted to talk about. I talked to Bill Cox, and Bemis closed. The building's sold. He was hoping that another retail use would go in there. And we all hope on that. And then the other thing is the New England Art Building, $7 million. It's all permitted. Anybody have any conversation on that at all? Or either of those?
I'll be free. I've represented those guys before, and Rick, being the good reporter, has asked me about what's going on. And I was not aware that it was put on the market, but I will say that it is not uncommon for projects that get approval to be floated out there in the market to see if someone wants to buy it at a premium price. If a project is worth $6 million and someone's willing to pay $7 million, some owners would sell it to a company that might be well-funded and qualified. Also, sometimes they put it on the market to see if they want to have someone to buy an interest to go in as to share the risk by sharing the lending capability. I have not, I don't mind saying, I have not spoken to the owners of 10 Railroad Street in 2 or 3 months, maybe, anyhow. So I'm not part of the construction part of it. I'm part of just the permitting part. So I don't know that they're stopping the project and looking for a buyer, or if they're continuing on and looking to see if there's anyone interested in buying in or buying it all. But that's all I know. I'm sorry to be vague, but I really don't know. And unless they want me to be involved, I don't usually pick up the phone and try to get involved.
What happened at 121 Randolph Street? The guy who bought the property tax title and then, the guy who has it now wound up with it. So that changed hands a couple of times, I think.
Right, so there was a good example of where that project was approved and the economy had taken a hit at that point in time. And so the entity that had the permits looked to see if there was someone else who wanted to either join them or buy the project. And they ended up selling the project to the current owner who's developing it according to the permits.
Thank
So
you.
when a property is sold or a project's sold, the permitting doesn't change. It might just be, the owner.
Well,
My,
that's just, this is on television. Be interested, because we've had questions about what's going to happen at 10 Railroad Street.
the part that really surprised me was that after 2 years, only 20% of it, the interior had been framed out. That was in the ad for the property.
That I don't know. I haven't been in the building in several months. And I do know they hired a project manager who was a former building inspector down in Plymouth, I believe. So I know he's been, in direct contact with the Abington Building Department and trying to get that project moving forward. As you know, they had a real bumpy start, so they hired a project manager to try to get it going. But I honestly, I don't know any more detail than that. I don't want to spread rumors, but I also don't want to spread misinformation either. So that's all.
I just brought this up to try to clear up misinformation that might be out there.
Yeah, I heard there was some things posted on Facebook, and I just say it's not out of the ordinary for things to be put. It's like someone putting a house out in the market and say, hey, if someone will pay me $700,000 for my $500,000 house, I'll sell it. If someone bites, great, and if they don't bite, you stay there. That might be what's going on, but I don't know.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that needs to be brought up at the meeting?
I just had a quick question. What did you guys do on 351 Summer Street?
We approved occupancy with having the bond to complete the work in the spring.
But you granted him occupancy?
We did what?
Did you guys grant him the occupancy?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Providing we're holding a $25,000 bond.
Yeah.
Yep, we are.
Cool.
So you want me to hold the money until he gets those issues fixed in the spring?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was in agreement with that.
Yeah, he's been trying to get people in there, so.
If I could go flash it back to Buckley Place, you already voted and thank you, but I guess I should have said, and to Liz really, I will send an email to both PMP and to Strong Point Engineering, who's the engineer of record, and CC Liz to ask them, have these details been resolved, or when they are resolved, to let Liz know. And then that way we can kind of close that file.
And you've got the vote on that too, Liz, right? That when he says we have everything we need, then release the bond.
Yeah, you voted to release the surety held contingent upon that drainage resolution based on that email that I got from Patrick that he had reached out to Eric to get it resolved.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Great.
Hey, Sean, are you planning on putting forward any zoning changes?
I don't even remember what the ones were that I heard you guys talking. I was trying to clean up my office. I don't remember what's on the docket, so I'll have to look back at what you guys are about to review in March. I don't have any personally new things. I haven't heard any new things, although I did get an update that and Bruce, you probably know a lot about this, that Charlie Breaker signed a bill that provides some opportunity for some updates in local bylaws and housing and permitting. Nothing that I don't think the town has to do. It now makes things something that the planning board's probably going to need to look at and see if they want to do something.
Well, an interesting thing too with the revisions is the revisions to the transit-oriented development, that they're going to require things, and MBTA served communities as far as revising transit-oriented development requirements. So, that's going to affect us down the line.
I think there's also something about like in-law apartments a town could vote to make them allowed as of right, assuming you have the proper plans and everything, instead of requiring a special permit. Again, you don't have to do it that way, but I think, I haven't read the whole thing yet, so you can rely on town council, not me.
My understanding is any community with a MBTA station needs to have an area where multifamily housing is allowed by right around that station. And I'm pretty sure we already qualify for that with the transit-oriented development zone.
Yeah, well, that's my comment, is that if, for example, John resubmits his project, in the Todd district, he'll argue that the new regulations require that multifamily development be built in one of those districts. It's just something that could come up.
Right now, in the Todd, multifamily is allowed by special permit. So it's something we'll have, on your side and on my side, we'll all have to look at it and see what this new statute means, and if we have to update it. I don't know. I haven't read through it, as I said, but there's something.
I think we need to be, it's like the FEMA stuff that we talked about earlier that we want to, put before town meeting again. We need to do that FEMA stuff definitely, because that's a requirement. But I think we're going to have to look at that statute to deal with the new state requirements on the housing. We're going to have to be prepared to act on that.
If my reading was,
I actually just sent that to you guys this afternoon. I got it from Copman and Page.
Yeah, I was reading.
Pretty sure that's what I sent you.
Yes, you did.
I
Okay.
think we're pretty close if we're not there already, but it would be good to have Copeland and Page say specifically if there's something we need to do, what is it? The rest of it seemed to apply to a lot of communities that say no to a lot of multifamily housing projects, and frankly, we don't.
I told you guys that I'm going back to work as a professional planner, Sean. I'm going to be working for the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, and they have a lot of MBTA served communities in their area. So, and I know I'm going to be working on housing with them. So maybe I'll be able to add a little bit more knowledge when we discuss this project.
Where is the Montechusett region?
It's 21 communities. I got the map. Their office is in Leominster, but they're out in Air, Leominster, that part of the area. The office is an hour and a quarter from this house. I have to go out there a week from today to officially become an employee. But
So they wanted to get a city boy to come out there and help them out.
well, they're very good people out there. And, I've been a professional planner for 35 years, so I get to extend my career a little longer and keep out of Kathy's hair too.
Congrats. I think it's always helpful to see what other towns have done and how they've written their bylaws. And not all towns are the same, but sometimes the bylaws can be very
Well,
well.
I think it's going to be a fresh look because, 30 and a half years of Old Colony, I was pretty familiar with all the communities around us. And you can always learn. So, I'll get exposed to different communities and learn. And, if that's something I can bring to the planning board, it'll be great.
Okay, is there anything else to be brought up? If not, a motion to adjourn will be in order.
Motion.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Everyone stay well and safe.